Let's get right into it. Champions League. It's a big one. Aston Villa taking on Juventus.
Massive game.
We're going to do a deep dive into this match.
That's right.
So you are prepped and ready.
Absolutely. Can't wait for this one.
I think what's really cool about this match is you've got two teams that are kind of playing different styles of football right now.
Yeah.
You've got Aston Villa, who, how much have they improved?
Oh my goodness. It's unbelievable what Unai Emery's done with this side.
They're really pushing to be a European powerhouse.
Well, that's it. You're seeing that ambition, right? They're not just content with being in the Premier League. They want to make a splash in Europe.
And
they've got the talent to do it.
You've got Juventus, who
Classic European giant.
are just a Champions League mainstay.
Always there.
It feels like.
Always a threat.
So,
Yeah.
just thinking about some of the players that could be on the pitch.
Ollie Watkins.
Oh, yeah? Against that Juventus defense.
That's a matchup I want to see.
Emiliano Buendia.
Oh, talk about creativity.
Trying to break down that Juventus midfield.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how he handles the likes of Locatelli or Rabiot in that midfield battle. You know, Juventus, they're known for their tactical flexibility.
Well, and I think that's one of the interesting things going into this. These two teams haven't really played each other recently.
Right. You go back to like the 1982-83 European Cup, Juventus had a pretty convincing win back then, but it's ancient history in football terms, isn't it?
It's ancient history. So much has changed.
Oh, yeah. Completely different teams, different styles, different era. So it's really exciting because we don't have a ton of recent data on their head-to-head encounters.
That's what makes this deep dive even more interesting.
Exactly. It's a bit of a mystery.
This is where the Tips Moto supercomputer comes into play.
We love these challenges. So let's get into it. Let's do it.
Aston Villa, Unai Emery.
Okay.
This team is playing differently.
They are. It's night and day compared to, a couple of seasons ago. Emery's come in and he's completely transformed their approach.
Yeah, I think the thing that's really fascinating to me is he seems to have found a balance between
Hit the nail on the head. Balance is the key word.
having a really solid defensive structure, but then being able to hit teams
Quickly on the break. Yeah.
on the counterattack
Exactly.
in a really dangerous way.
Swift counterattacks. It's like they lull you into a false sense of security and then boom, they're off to the races.
So, I'm thinking Ollie Watkins
Oh, yeah. Watkins.
against this Juventus defense. That's
That's a scary thought for any defender, let's be honest.
a matchup to watch.
It is pace, power, clinical finishing. Watkins has got it all, and if Juventus aren't careful...
Yeah, I think you can see him getting in behind.
Absolutely. Emery's system really plays to Watkins' strengths, too. It allows him to use that pace to exploit any gaps that might appear.
Absolutely. And
I think that's going to be one of the key tactical battles in this match, Will Aston Villa's sort of more rigid, structured defense
yes.
be able to contain Juventus's more fluid,
Yeah.
possession-based style?
Yeah, that's
the big question.
big question.
Big question. We'll get to that a little bit later.
But before we even get to that, Juventus
Let's talk about that.
are so good
Yeah.
at what they do.
It's not just history, right? It's consistent performance at the highest level. They're always competing for titles, always in the latter stages of the Champions League.
What is it that makes them so consistently good?
What's their secret sauce? Well, there are a few ingredients, right? Firstly, they've got a squad that's packed with talent, top-class players in every position.
Yeah, Dusan Vlahovic.
Oh,
Vlahovic up top. That guy is
Talk about a goal machine.
a goal scorer.
He's one of the best in the world, no doubt about it.
And Federico Chiesa.
On the wing, oh, he's electric. Pace, trickery. He can cause absolute havoc for defenses.
But I think it's more than just those individual plays.
Oh, absolutely. It's the way they function as a unit. They've got this understanding, this chemistry that's built up over years of playing together.
And it's there.
It's more than the sum of its parts, you know what I mean? Tactical flexibility. Allegri is a master of it.
Right. So we've got this team that can defend.
Oh, yeah. They can be rock solid at the back when they need to be.
They can
Absolutely.
And they can hit you on the break.
When they can possess the ball.
And then when they need to, they can control the tempo, dictate the play, and just wear you down with their possession.
Yeah. So Aston Villa are going to have their work cut out for them in this match. Oh, they will. But that's what makes it so exciting. You've got these two different styles, two different approaches, and it's going to be fascinating to see who comes out on top. And that tactical flexibility is what makes them so difficult to prepare for, you know? You never quite know what Juventus are going to throw at you.
Right. It's like you're playing chess against a grandmaster who can change the rules of the game halfway through.
Exactly. And that's where TipsMoto's supercomputer really comes in handy. We've analyzed every bit of information we can get our hands on, from current form to historical data, to try and predict how Allegri might set up his team.
I mean, you said they haven't played each other recently, so we have to get creative.
We have to, right. We've got to look at the bigger picture, consider all the factors, and try to anticipate what might happen on the pitch.
So not just who's playing well right now, but also who's got momentum.
Right. Who's on a hot streak, who's struggling for form, who's carrying an injury. It all plays a part.
And I think sometimes people forget how important the mental side of the game is.
Absolutely. A team that's confident, that's believing in themselves, can overcome almost any obstacle.
And a team that's doubting themselves, that's carrying the weight of past defeats, they can struggle even against weaker opponents.
And all that gets factored into our analysis.
Exactly. And our TipsMoto algorithms take all of that into account.
That's why we're so confident in our predictions, you know?
Yeah.
We're not just looking at the obvious stuff. We're digging deep, trying to understand the nuances of the game, the psychological factors that can make all the difference.
Speaking of factors that can make a difference,
Yeah.
let's not forget about the venue for this match. Villa Park.
Oh, yeah, the Holt End. They can create an atmosphere there. It's going to be electric.
Home advantage.
It's massive in football.
It can be huge.
Absolutely. A passionate crowd can give the home team that extra push, that extra bit of energy that can make all the difference in a tight game.
Juventus, though, they've
They've
played
seen it all, haven't they?
in some big stadiums.
They've played in some of the most intimidating stadiums in Europe. They won't be fazed by the atmosphere at Villa Park.
But I think this Aston Villa team under Emery, they're not just happy to be in the Champions League.
They're not there to make up the numbers, are they? They want to make a statement.
They want to prove that they belong at this level.
Exactly. And Juventus, they're not going to want to let Aston Villa steal their thunder. They'll want to assert their dominance, show everyone that they're still a force to be reckoned with in Europe.
Okay, so we've got this clash of ambition.
Clash of styles as well, remember?
Clash of styles. How's our TipsMoto supercomputer?
It's working overtime, crunching all the data.
I'm seeing this one playing out.
Well, I don't want to give away all our secrets just yet. You'll have to follow our social media for the full breakdown and predictions.
Oh, you're such a tease.
I know. But I can say this. It's going to be a close one. It really could go either way.
All right, before we get to the prediction,
Yes.
let's take a look at those potential lineups.
Always an important part of the analysis.
Keeping in mind that these are just educated guesses based on
Yeah, it's all speculation at this point.
the information that we have.
Exactly.
Aston Villa. I think we could see them lining up in that familiar 4-2-3-1 formation.
Yeah, that's been Emery's go-to system this season, hasn't it?
Emiliano Martinez in goal.
Solid as a rock.
Back four of Matty Cash,
Good shout.
Ezri Konsa,
Yeah.
Tyrone Mings,
Experienced center back.
and Lucas Digne.
Providing that attacking threat from left back as well.
Midfield,
The engine room.
Douglas Luiz,
Yeah.
John McGinn.
Love those two together.
Specific.
So much energy, so much bite.
It's shielding
Yeah. They're going to have to be at their best to stop that Juventus midfield, though.
that defense.
Absolutely. They'll need to break up play, win those second balls, and protect that back four.
And then, of course, we've got that attacking trio that everyone's excited to see, Leon Bailey and Jacob Ramsey providing the width.
Face out wide. That's what you want.
And then Emiliano Buendia orchestrating things in the middle.
Pulling the strings.
And then up top, Ollie Watkins leading the line, looking to exploit any weaknesses in that Juventus defense.
And Juventus, what about them? What do we think?
Juventus.
Let's dive into that.
I think we could see them opting for their classic 4-3-3.
Yeah. Allegri loves that formation. Gives him a lot of options, a lot of flexibility.
Wojciech Szczesny in goal.
Reliable, consistent.
Back line of Danilo, Leonardo Bonucci,
Bonucci, the veteran.
Gleison Bremer,
Solid defender.
and Alexandro.
Yeah, that's a backline with a lot of experience, a lot of quality.
The midfield is where things get really interesting.
It always is with Juventus, isn't it? They've got so many options there. So many options in the midfield. We could see Manuel Locatelli, Adrian Rabiot, and Weston McKennie.
Yeah, Locatelli really controls the tempo of a match.
He's the heartbeat of that midfield.
Rabiot.
Box-to-box energy.
All over the pitch.
Covers every blade of glass.
And then McKennie,
That's some steel.
that physical presence.
Yeah. They're not going to shy away from a challenge, that's for sure.
And, of course, we can't forget about that Juventus attack.
Oh, the attack.
Federico Chiesa.
That guy is A nightmare for defenders.
That pace.
Electric, unpredictable. You just don't know what he's going to do next.
And then up top, Dusan Vlahovic.
Yeah. Vlahovic is so...
Your goal scorer.
Give him half a chance, and he'll find the back of the net.
Yeah, he's
clinical finisher.
one of the best in the world.
Without a doubt.
At what he does.
Yeah. It's going to be a real test for that Aston Villa defense to keep him quiet.
Okay, so we've got these potential lineups. We've talked about tactical battles, individual matchups, the history home advantage.
We've covered a lot of ground.
It really feels like
Doesn't it?
this is going to be an amazing match.
I think so too. And you know what? This is just the tip of the iceberg. Our Tips Moto supercomputer has been crunching the numbers, analyzing all the data, and we've got some really interesting predictions and betting tips. But we're not going to give it all away here. You're going to have to head over to our social media pages for the full breakdown.
That's right. If you want to know who we think is going to win this match,
And more importantly, how they're going to win it.
the key players to watch the betting markets you should be looking at, you've got to follow us on social media.
Absolutely. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search for Tips Moto and you'll find us.
We'll have detailed match previews, predicted lineups,
Key player battles.
betting tips.
Everything you need to make the most of this Champions League clash.
Don't miss out. This is a match you do not want to miss.
It's going to be a good one.
Aston Villa versus Juventus. It's a clash of styles, a clash of ambition.
And a clash of two teams who are both on the rise.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Make sure you are following us on social media.
For all the latest insights and betting tips.
Good luck with your bets, and we'll see you next time.